Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Michael and we're going to be getting right back into some more Reddit stories. If you enjoy the video, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Now, without further ado, let's begin. This story was posted by a user named ButtonsMcBoom in the Off My Chest subreddit. The post is titled, "I just found out that my wife cheated on me back in 2008 when we were dating. First things first, I have no plans to divorce my wife. I'm not so much seeking advice as I am just trying to vent because this hurts bad, and I'm not sure to whom else I can turn to get this off my chest." An old friend of my wife, whom we have not seen in years, reached out to me last night and emailed me screen caps of some email exchanges they had at the time that detailed a fling my wife had with another man back while we were still dating long distance. She said she wanted to clear her conscience after all this time, but I was still skeptical at first. It took place in the 2 months leading up to me moving in with her. She definitely had sex with the guy at least once and they went on several dates. I logged into her email at about 2 a.m. this morning and verified that these emails were real, and I found some more emails she sent to another friend with more of her details and feelings. We've both grown a lot since then. Our marriage has been truly great, but reading some of the shit she said back then just gutted me. She said she knew what she was doing was wrong, though she didn't necessarily feel guilt. She said that she loved the way I made her feel when we were together, but she got really lonely when I left and that she had made up her mind to basically live like she was single for the 3 weeks each month that I wasn't there. Hell, she even kicked around the idea of breaking up with me to pursue a relationship with the other guy. Like I said, we currently have a great marriage and I have zero intention of pursuing a divorce. I'm not even sure I'm going to confront her about it because it was so long ago. That said, this has really punched me in the gut and I'm not sure I've ever felt this kind of hurt. Thanks for listening to me and letting me vent Reddit. Update. I got back home on Sunday after a weekend work meeting that was out of state. I asked her if we could talk and I told her that I knew she had cheated on me. She held back tears as she confessed that she had indeed carried on a brief relationship with another man while we were dating, shortly before I had moved states and we had moved in together. I asked her if there were any other times and she said no. I have faith in her when she says this because I gave no time frame and she corroborated what I had found. I then asked why she kept it from me for so long, and she said she knew how adamant I was that I would never forgive a cheater, and she knew it would destroy both me and our relationship. She then asked for my forgiveness if I could ever forgive her, and I told her that I already had. She cried even more when I told her that the last thing I want is a divorce, because I still love her more than anything in the world, and I'm not willing to throw everything we have away for something that happened 16 years ago. I said that while I love her, I am still very hurt because all of this is new for me and my trust in her is a little shaken for having kept this from me for so long. She understood and offered to let me go through her messages, her email, and her text to prove nothing else had gone on. I declined because I have known all of her passwords and how to unlock her phone, and she has never jealously guarded her devices. We can also track one another's devices, and she has never been somewhere she shouldn't be when I have checked. Finally, I asked why. She said she didn't have a clear answer and she still wasn't totally sure, but she was going through a very self-destructive time in her life, and when this guy came pursuing her hard, it was one more terrible decision in a string of terrible life decisions she had made over the previous year. We embraced and cried. She apologized again, and I told her how much she meant to me. I told her it would take time for me to process all of this and that I would be going through counseling and that I want us to attend marriage counseling for at least a little while, but that I was still madly in love with her. Then she asked me how I found out, and I told her about how her old friend had reached out to me and dropped the news, which caused me to check her emails and corroborate this information. Apparently, they had a pretty serious falling out a while back after my wife had loaned the friend a good amount of money after the friend's husband had taken everything and left her high and dry. Yes, we both have discretionary accounts. No, I do not worry about what she does with her own money. Yes, I knew about the loan. Instead of using the money to get back on her feet, her friend had used it for really expensive, unneeded stuff and a vacation with some other girlfriends. Needless to say, my wife was pissed. She asked for her money back and it led to a big fight. They have barely spoken since, and this will probably officially end their relationship as my wife thinks this could be payback for cutting off her friend. I have my first session with a new therapist later this week. We have a session with a marriage counselor next week. I am hopeful that we will come through this ordeal just as strong as we were before. To those who offered me genuine advice, thank you. While I was not necessarily looking for advice when I first posted, there was some sage wisdom in some of your words and it really helped me. Thank you again. OP said that the cheating occurred 16 years ago, and I think I can understand his reasoning for not really wanting to confront his wife. However, I'd still be incredibly pissed off, and out of principle, I think I'd lean toward breaking off the relationship. This might sound like something an incel or a terminally online person would say, but I really do get the vibe that OP's wife went out and had fun with no consequences, only to return to a stable and reliable person like OP. This feels a bit cucky to me. A deleted user said OP doesn't realize it yet, but he's at the beginning of a very long road with an uncertain ending. Reconciling after infidelity is very, very difficult, and even with the cheater truly showing remorse and making changes, sometimes the betrayed partner just can't get over it, despite doing the work. I've seen this with a friend. His wife cheated on him, he found out, and they spent 3 years in reconciliation. He tried his hardest to get over it, especially since they have a son, but he said that in the end, although he got over the hurt, he realized the whole situation had poisoned his love for her, and he couldn't live with someone he didn't love anymore. She had the nerve to be angry at him for throwing away all her hard work to try and fix things as if she wasn't the reason they had to repair things in the first place. Honestly, he would have been better off separating when he found out. Not to say that reconciliation can't work, but the odds aren't great. User time anything said, I really hope that it works out for OP. I know a lot of people on this site hate this, but people can change and grow, and they may not make the same mistake, especially over the course of 16 years. OP even said that his wife was 25 and going through a rough patch. It doesn't make it okay, but it doesn't mean she had to have made the same mistake again. Also, this falling out with her friend happened recently, so if OP's wife had cheated more recently, the friend would have used that as ammo instead of something that happened 16 years ago. If OP went through 16 years of his wife's emails, he would have found other evidence of cheating if she had done it again. User Matt DVS said, what strikes me as weird about this is that she got mad at the friend for ratting her out, meaning she had no intention of ever confessing this to him. I really doubt she has felt guilt over this the whole time. Having been married for 20 years, I don't know that I would blow up my marriage over finding out my wife cheated on me when we were dating either, but I would not be nearly as willing to just sweep this under the rug and immediately forgive her as he is. This next post was made in the AITAH subreddit by a user named CCTV. The post is titled AITA for refusing to forgive my ex-best friend and other friends even after 6 years. I used to be best friends with Anna since high school. She was popular and outgoing while I was the introverted, nerdy friend. In high school, I had a crush on Ethan, but I assumed he'd prefer Anna, so I stayed out of it. They started dating and I supported her with reluctance because of their toxic on and off relationship. Over time, I grew to dislike Ethan because he was rude and mean. They broke up when we were 21 but got back together a year later and eventually got engaged at 23. 3 months before the wedding, Ethan drunkenly called me asking why I rejected him. I dismissed him, said he was drunk, and ended the call. The very next day, I was kicked out of group chats and ghosted by everyone else in our friend circle. When I texted my friends to ask what happened, they gave me the silent treatment. When I reached out to Anna, I found myself blocked. Desperate, I even tried calling Ethan, but my number was blocked too. I had no idea what I'd done wrong and wished anyone would tell me. That week was hell. Anna's silence hurt the most because at the time, she meant everything to me. I barely slept, battling panic attacks at night while trying to keep it together for class during the day. If not for my supportive roommates who helped me through my panic attacks, I don't know how I would have made it through. Anna and I attended the same local university but took different courses. I waited for her outside her class. When she came out with her friends, I pulled her aside and asked what was going on. She accused me of being a fake friend who tried to steal Ethan. I denied her accusation and asked for proof, but she went silent and left. They didn't unfriend me on Facebook, but kept posting about their hangouts and the bridal shower, along with indirect jabs at me. I eventually deleted my old account and changed my number. I slowly rebuilt my self-esteem and moved on. I recently created a new Facebook account. A few days ago, I was added to a group chat for our upcoming reunion, which I had no idea about. They greeted me, calling me class president, as if they hadn't shunned me 6 years ago. I left the group, but they kept messaging me. Anna kept calling, so I finally picked up out of annoyance. She told me that she was sorry for everything and wished for me to come to the class reunion party. The party didn't seem to be complete without the class president every year. She told me that she divorced Ethan after 2 years of marriage. She tried to reach out to me, but couldn't find any of my socials or contact info after we graduated. I asked her why she was telling me all this when she was no longer important to me. She cried. I ended the call and continued ignoring their messages on Messenger. My family says forgiveness is for my own peace and that it doesn't mean forgetting, but I don't feel anything anymore, only indifference. I don't owe them anything to ease their guilt. Update. Just a quick disclaimer. I created my Facebook account 2 weeks ago after mustering the courage from my past trauma. I used fake names and ages for anonymity. In reality, we're all 29. My friendship with Anna fell apart when I was 23, and now, 6 years later, we're 29. I know no one has noticed this so far, but I just wanted to clarify. Some people from my previous post suggested that I reach out to Ethan. However, before I could do so, he reached out to me first. Yesterday, I received a friend request from him along with a message saying hi in my messenger. So we talked. He invited me for coffee this weekend so we could talk about it, but I told him not to push his luck and just answer me. I asked him about his call that night. Since most boys were too intimidated to approach me, they often asked Anna to convey their feelings to me. Ethan was one of them. Apparently, many boys had a crush on me back then, but at the time, only Anna received open confessions, so I assumed I was undesirable. Not that it mattered to me. I was foolishly infatuated with Anna, so much so that I would have rolled out a red carpet for her to walk on if I could. She was my entire world back then. Not once had I ever heard about boys in high school liking me from Anna. Apparently, Anna would always come back to them with her apologetic face, telling them that I had rejected them and repeating the insults I had supposedly said about them. No wonder some people back in high school called me arrogant and disliked me. I just thought it was because I was a strict class president and student committee member. Unlike Anna, who was friendly and charming, I was strict, sharp-tongued, and rarely smiled. I don't owe anyone a smile. Ethan explained that he was mean to me back then because Anna told him I had said he was an orphan abandoned by his parents. This was a particularly sensitive topic for him, as he had been raised by his grandparents since childhood. He later discovered the truth when Anna inadvertently admitted it during an argument. That moment led him to file for divorce. Ethan shared that he genuinely did love Anna, but her constant insecurity and habit of bringing up my name in every argument strained their relationship. She either accused Ethan of still thinking about me or compared him to me. Anna did find out about Ethan's drunken call that very same night. They had an argument and Ethan came close to calling off the wedding, but Anna guilt-tripped him into staying. Neither Ethan nor Anna lied or twisted the story. Anna simply told our entire friend group to stop talking to me. They knew I hadn't done anything wrong, but somehow it was still my fault that Ethan had unresolved feelings toward me. I was an introvert and most of my friends back then were hers. It wasn't surprising that they followed her lead when she turned against me. They were always her friends, not mine. Anna and my ex-classmates then painted me as a villain to the other friends from high school. Ethan didn't do anything to help me because he was manipulated into hating me. His words, not mine. That's why I changed my number and deleted all my social media accounts. While no one directly bombarded me with mean messages, I constantly saw posts that seemed aimed at me, even though my name was never mentioned. Ethan only revealed everything to the other friends after his divorce from Anna was finalized. Now Anna and my ex-classmates are the ones being shunned by the others since 2 years ago. Ethan said he owed me an apology, though he knew it wouldn't be enough after everything that happened. While he never smeared my name, he stood on the sidelines and did nothing simply because I rejected him and called him an abandoned orphan during high school. He asked me if I would be going to the upcoming reunion party. It turns out the reunion party this time was for the 1995 high school batch. My ex-classmates probably wanted their former class president to attend for appearances. I told him I wouldn't go. He said I could sit with him and his ex-classmates if I wanted to. Why would I? Brother, enough. I told him I wouldn't be attending because I have no friends from high school. He mentioned that the others would be sad if they heard I said that. Well, screw them. I received a lot more messages from old friends, but I didn't respond to any of them. I have no attachment to them. I told Anna that Ethan had already told me everything. She called me on Messenger again, sobbing. She admitted she might have been a terrible friend, but that she did care about me. All those years, I was always on her mind. I was too attached to her back then because she was my first real friend. I had no friends in middle school. I was too shy and quiet to make friends. Anna taught me how to make friends and overcome my social anxiety, introducing me to a lot of people. I learned to cook for her and took care of her when she was sick. I even protected her from creeps. Everything I did was for her. Now that I think about it, it was kind of unhealthy. Maybe she wanted me to be that version of myself again, only for her convenience. She begged me to try again, saying she would be a better person for me, but I just ended the call and blocked her. After a few minutes of contemplation, I decided to delete my Facebook account again. I have a feeling that if I didn't, they would keep bothering me. I'll settle for a fake account. The main reason why I made my Facebook account is to play Harvest Town anyway. Sorry for the long post. This will be my one and only update. I want to thank the 4 people who personally messaged me on Reddit. Your messages meant a lot, as not many people have done so much for me in my life. I hope my update answered your questions. Farewell. User Gypsy Jazz said, "There's definitely power in having the ability to forgive someone, but no one should feel obligated to do it. I don't see any reason for OP to forgive Anna in this scenario, especially if she feels she has moved on. Forgiveness only serves to absolve Anna of her guilt. It may just be me, but I'd be petty enough to respond and say I've heard your apology, but I don't forgive you. As far as I see it, the trash took care of itself 6 years ago, and she has no desire to have it back in her life, especially now that she has genuine friends." User Lactard Banana said, "One day you learn how meaningless high school and all the drama and friendships associated with that time were." User Make It Cool said, "OP is in a better place right now, and I hope she realizes she doesn't need to deal with that BS from the past. If Anna truly wanted to reconcile, she should have done it one-on-one instead of this half-assed, we need our class president approach. Personally, I don't think 6 years is that long a time for something like this to be water under the bridge." This last post was made in the same subreddit by a user named Application Large. The post is titled AITA for giving my daughter a breakdown of what it cost to raise her when she asked me for her university funds. My daughter Ava was a handful growing up. Her dad passed away when she was 5, and even with therapy, she was a very angry child. I still love her very much. She is my daughter, and I would do anything for her that I can. Her dad didn't have a lot of insurance, but enough to pay off a small house, set aside an emergency fund, and top up my daughter's 529 education fund. I kept adding to it over the years, nothing much, but as I could. When she was 11, I met and married my husband. I thought Ava was okay with it. She never brought up any problems to me or in our therapy sessions. She was not okay. When she was 13, she accused him of something inappropriate. I called the police immediately. He was arrested and lost his job. He was innocent. She did it to get rid of him. We divorced. I was obviously heartbroken. I did my best not to take it out on her, but I did punish her. She started acting out and got expelled from school, then another school. I ended up having to send her to a private school. Even with a voucher, it was expensive. It worked though. She is graduating this year with honors and a scholarship. Recently, she asked me about the money in her account. I told her it was all gone. She became very upset because her scholarship won't cover all costs, and even with financial aid, she will still have to pay a fair amount. I said I would co-sign a student loan for what she needs. She wanted to know where the money went that I wasted. So I got out a pen and paper and wrote it all down. The cost of my divorce, the rising cost of living that I paid for by myself since I didn't have a partner, her tuition and fees for private school. By the end, she was crying and saying that I was blaming her for everything. I never have. I did punish her for the trouble she caused with my ex, but I think that was reasonable. She is upset that she will have to take out a loan. I also made it very clear that I would not be responsible for paying it back. She thinks I'm being cruel by saying that she is responsible for the stupid things she did as a child. I'm not. But I cannot pull the money I had to spend because of her out of thin air. Update. First, my ex was completely cleared. He was never home at the time she alleged the essay. We have security cameras in my house, and there are exactly 0 videos of him entering her room or being inappropriate with her in the common areas. I have already commented on the other evidence that got the charges against my ex dropped. She admitted the truth and said that she was doing it to get him out of our house. He is doing okay now, he has a new job, and he and I still talk. Her excuse was that she didn't think I would immediately call the cops. She thought I would just kick him out since it is my house. She felt trapped and like she couldn't back down. She has never apologized to him. She has been in therapy since she was 5, both on her own and with me. To my knowledge, she never mentioned anything about assault to her therapist, and they are mandatory reporters. Second, I told her that I will not be co-signing her loans. I explained that I will support her and do my best to ensure that she does not default, but I am not risking my home or my future for her. She fully understands now where her savings went. She is mostly upset with herself now and realizes that the private school was my last choice and only necessary because of choices she made. Thank you all for your help. Third, since I do not care about karma, I will be giving this account to either you/Frickfrel or you/Vermilion Ocelot tomorrow. They are welcome to delete the posts or sell the account for the 59 cents it is worth. User Morgan and Merlin said, there are so many things in these two posts to comment on, and somehow OP ends it with a snide remark about how her Reddit account is worth 59 cents. That detail seals the deal that this is probably a true, sad, heartbreaking story all around. And yet, I hope OP gets her 59 cents. A deleted user said, therapy since she was 5, yet she still thought it was acceptable to falsely accuse someone and refused to accept the consequences of her actions. What is happening in therapy? Clearly, it's not working. To this user, Hypalicious said, honestly, this is why therapy does not work for anyone unless they really want to change. Therapists aren't miracle workers, and in the worst case scenario, all therapy does is teach a manipulative person how to be a better manipulator. That girl didn't want to change at 5 or at any point after that until she had her FAFO, which seems to be the catalyst for waking her up. User SweetAxe said, even now, people are pretending as if teens are mentally inept and don't know right from wrong. Sure, the suggestions that the daughter should be locked up or something for her false accusations are extreme, but that doesn't make the comments excusing her actions because she was just a child any less ridiculous.